All right, Shalom. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Lakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone who rule well, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Lakakwadash, and salutations to the sincere Akim that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. And once again, this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Basham Makakwadash. And this is just, a little bit of a sit down since that's what's going on right now in the state that I'm in. It's a sit down, basically sit at home. You can't go out, you can't open up market, you can't do nothing. So that's just what we're going to have to bear with today. I'm not willing, we can be out there on the highways and byways eventually when it goes out, when it's the sit down is over or closed or whatever term or how they handle it. So yeah, so we'll start from current events because as you already know, we are the Hebrew Israelites coming in week in and week out to bring out the 100% truth of the gospel of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua Shem Kodash. So what that involves is Bible prophecy and relating it to the current events and the current things that are happening on the earth today. And as you can clearly see, if your eyes are open, right, your eyes and your ears are open to what is going on the earth, all these things that you see happening all over the earth, all the news, all the events that are going on in the world, these are all signs of the end of the world. And that is the time that we're in right now. The end of this kingdom, the end of the world, as it were. And that word world, is not, and we'll start from there, right? Setting the record straight concerning what the end of the world actually means. Because if you listen to these wacky Christians, what they will tell you is that when we are talking about the end of the world, we're talking about the end of everything, right? The end of the world as we know it now, the world is going to be completely destroyed, blow up like the Death Star. I think that's what Book I don't know where it says that the whole world is coming to an end. But as we know, according to the scriptures, that is not possible because first precept, and that should be in the book of either Proverbs or Ecclesiastes, that the earth abideth forever, right? So this is the book of Ecclesiastes 1 verse 4, and it reads, "One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever." And what that shows right there is that, the earth can't be destroyed, right? The Most High Yahweh Shai is not going to destroy the whole earth, okay? But when we talk about the world being destroyed, the world coming to an end, right? What we're actually referring to is the word which is used in the Greek, right? Aeon, okay? We are talking about the world. And let me see if I can get that precept. That should be a book of 2 Peter. And so the word there will be aeon, aeon, aeon. And I can't remember the exact precept where that word is used. So I'll have to look for it a little bit. You can have to bear with me. Alright, so let me try let me go to the book of okay, here it is. Ephesians 2 verse 2. That's still not it, right? Because what they are saying here is cosmos. I'm looking for the word being used in the scriptures as aeon. Let me look for it. I believe it should also be in the book of Revelations. It's that should be. Let me try the book of Revelations. Just like you have to hear it. I'm trying to remember where I first saw this word world. Well, let me just continue what I was saying anyway. Not doing now. Remember where the precept where the word world is translated as aeon in the Greek. And basically what I'm saying is that the word that is used for world in this case is aeon, which means earth age, right? The time, a period. Let me go and get that. Let me get that let me get that in the on the Google. Now I'm trying to check the Google to see if I can find anywhere aeon is used in the Bible, right? But I can't, find it. So let me just I'll just guess the definition of the word. So let me start with that. That is, and the word is eon, right? It's like eon. So I'll start from there. Eon etymology. That will also bring the definition as well. So this is the etymology of the word eon. And you have to bear with me because network is really slow here. So you just give it a second and wait. So we'll start from there. Still loading. So okay, it's up now. Okay. Aeon, immeasurable period of time. See Eon also. Aeon, from the Latin aeon, from the Greek aion, age, vital force, a period of existence, a lifetime, a generation, a long space of time, in plural, eternity. Right, so basically what it refers to is a certain period of time. And that's what we refer to as well when we say that this world is coming to an end. In other words, this period of time, this period of rulership in which you have Esau Edom in power, right? The beast system in rulership, which is NATO and the EU, that setup of the world. Because if we go to the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, we see how the kingdoms of this world were arranged, starting with the Babylonians, moving on to the Medo-Persians, to the Greek Empire. Also in the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter as well, because Daniel 7 refers to them as four beasts. For Daniel, the 2nd chapter, it's a giant statue, the top is gold, the torso is silver, right? Let me just go and get that precept so I won't butcher it. It's a lot of scriptures to read. So I'm just going to get the main point. In other words, how the statue actually looked and what it represents. Because hey, it's already a very well-known fact what all those things represent. They represent rulerships, right? Periods of time in which the world will be ruled by these separate kingdoms, which are the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, and then eventually the Romans. Okay, so that's the book of Daniel. And the period that we're in right now is the revised Roman Empire, the continuation of the Roman Empire, which is why it's starting from the elder apostles on down, because it was first taught that the US, right, America, Babylon the Great is the modern day Rome from the Queen of the Great Millstone, going back all the way to one West, and then eventually these Christian scholars began to pick up on it and use it. Even they Well, really, the history is already out there because a lot of Christian scholars have already recorded how or the similarities between Babylon, America, Babylon the Great, and Rome. Like, take, for example, the capital city, which is in Washington, and how it is structured to be exactly like Rome is, which would be the capital city of the Roman Empire. So this is the book of Daniel, the second chapter. And I'll start from just the description of the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dream. So this is the book of Daniel 9 verse 20, Daniel 2 to Daniel 2 verse 20. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of Yahweh of the Most High forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons, he removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things, he knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou power of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me what he will desire of thee. For thou hast made known unto us the king's matter. And the reason I'm reading this is because, the prophet Daniel was giving praises to the Most High, Yahweh Sham Yahushua here, and also, showing you the power of the Heavenly Father. He removeth kings and setteth up kings, giveth wisdom to the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealed the deep and secret things, right? That's why in the book of Amos 3 verse 7, it tells you that the Most High will do nothing, but he revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. And you already know that Daniel, right, is a prophet because, one of the major books of prophecy, the book of Daniel. And that's where you find out about the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, the Babylonian Empire. In fact, it's one of the first books of prophecy that was ever written that shows you the recorded history of things that happened on the earth, right? Because it's in the book of Daniel that during the period of the book of Daniel, that's your, I believe it's 690 something BC. So your late 600 BC to the later 600 BC, or during that 600 BC period, that's when you really start seeing different kingdoms start to record their history, start to commission what's the word I'm looking for, scrolls being written to record their history. And you find out that the history that is recorded, is the same and it corresponds with the history in the scriptures. So you see that, what the prophet Daniel was talking about, he knew what he was talking about. And this is in 600 BC, so that's roughly 300 years before the Greek and Roman Empire were established, because the Greek Empire was established in 300 BC and the Roman Empire was established in the early the late 100 BC. So that's from 33, from 50 something BC. That's when the Roman Empire was established, because Claudius, which is known as the first Roman emperor, was actually ruling when our Lord Yahushua was born. So let's continue on these precepts. So this is the book of Daniel 2 verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, and his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Right. So that is how the description of the image, which of course represented the kingdoms that would rule in this, the kingdoms that will rule, or even let me say it in this case, the worlds that will rule in before our Lord Yahushua comes on the earth. So that's your Babylonian, your Assyrian Babylonian Empire, which is one world in and of itself. The Medo-Persian Empire, another world. The Greek Empire, another world, and the Greco-Roman Empire, another world. So that is four kingdoms that will rule in that time. Now, of course, the gold, which is the head, represents the Assyrio-Babylonian Empire, right? Then eventually it goes down to silver, which is the Medo-Persian Empire, then to the brass, which is the Greek Empire, then iron and miry clay, which is the Greco-Roman Empire. And what that shows you is that there is a decrease in quality of the rulership of these various empires, which is contrary to what you are being taught in this kingdom, which is that, oh well, this is the greatest empire to ever rule, but it's not, right? And what the decrease in quality is really going into is the moral standard of this kingdom, right? Because during the Assyrian Babylonian Empire and the Medo-Persian Empire, you had some form of righteousness, right? Not complete sincerity, but you still had some form of righteousness because Nebuchadnezzar knew who the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai was, and he feared the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the princes of Persia. They allowed our people, which had been scattered and taken from the land of Israel, right, the southern kingdom at least, to go back to our holy land and rebuild our temple. You can read about that in the book of Ezra and the book of Nehemiah. But when you come into the Greek and the Roman Empire, that's when you start to see wickedness really be on full display on the earth, right? That's why in the book of First Maccabees, and we can even go to that, the book of First Maccabees, it tells you that as soon as the Alexander the Greek came into rulership, that wickedness, unrighteousness was multiplied upon the earth. So this is the book of First Maccabees 1. So this is the book of First Maccabees 1, verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, which is of course factual. If you go into the historical record, Alexander the Greek did in fact reign 12 years and then die. And when he was done with his reign, his son did not take over, right? But it was rather his four generals, the Diadachi, that took over. That's Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucus, and Antigonus. I believe that's his name. Oh, I've forgotten the last one. So like, yeah, Antigonus. I've forgotten the last one. The issue is that last Roman emperor wasn't really that prominent in history because the three main generals that you know about in history is Cassander, Seleucus, and Ptolemy, and they took over different parts of Alexander the Greeks empire, right? So Antiochus took over Syria, which is in Asia Minor. Antiochus Seleucus took over Asia Minor, and Ptolemy took over Egypt, and then Cassander took over the Mediterranean region. So let's continue reading. First Maccabees 1 verse 8. And he says, and his servants bear rule, everyone in his place. And that's what I'm referring to by his four generals, his servants. First Maccabees 1 verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And it's just a summary of their rulership, right? The four generals come into power, and eventually their children as well take over after them. That's why you have in the history Ptolemy the first, Ptolemy the second, all the way up to Ptolemy like the fifth or sixth, right? And the same thing with the Seleucids. You have Antiochus the first, Antiochus the Great, Antiochus the Epiphanes, Antiochus, up until that empire eventually falls as well. And that's where you get the history of the 6 Syrian wars from, the Seleucids versus the Ptolemies. Okay, that's just some brief history right there. But what this is showing, what I was trying to read, that the main point was, wickedness, right, increased upon the earth, because as soon as Esau, Edom comes into power, which is deep wicked, which is who the Greek and the Romans were. Because if you go into that history, and this is a lot of history right here, even in the scriptures it references it, because you go to the book of Esther, it tells you that Haman, right, which was an Agagite, which makes him an Edomite, was in Macedonia, and he was trying to put his fellow brethren in Macedonia in power. And let me see if I can get that precept. That should be in the book of the additions to Esther, which shows you that during that time, which was the time of Esther, the time of the Medio-Persian rulership, that the Macedonia, okay, was already being ruled by Esau Edom. So now, additions to Esther 16, verse 10. For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us, had so forth obtained the favor that we should towards every nation. And as he was called our father, and was continually honored of all the next person unto the king. But he, not bearing his dignity, went about to deprive us of our kingdom and life, because ultimately Haman's plan wasn't just to destroy our people or to wipe out our people from Persia, right? But it was ultimately also to eventually take the throne from the Persians, okay? Take the throne from the kings of Persia, from the king of Persia at that time. So, additions to Esther 16, verse 13. Having by manifold and cunning deceit sought of us the destruction as well of Mordocius, which is Mordecai, who saved our life and continually procured our good, and also blameless Esther, partaker of our kingdom and there with their whole nation. For by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians. That's the point right there, okay? Even though we know that in the scriptures that Haman is an Agagite, which is Agag, the son of Amalek, which was the grandson of Esau Edom. So that shows you that he was an Edomite, but he was living in Macedonia and wanted to translate the kingdom from the Persians to the Macedonians. Now, there is a reason why, you know, Haman being a Macedonian while also being an Edomite is important, because Alexander and his fathers, that's Philip II, they were also Macedonians. They were the Philip II was the king of Macedon before Alexander eventually conquered, you know, Egypt, conquered Persia, conquered the Mediterranean, and became the first king of Greece, right? Alexander the Greek, of course. So that means that Alexander's family goes back to Macedon, but they weren't the actual original Macedonians. They were the Edomites that took over Macedonia and ruled in Macedonia, and eventually became rulers in Greece as well. And what that shows you is that Alexander, including his four generals, they were all Edomites, okay, that had taken over the kingdom of Macedonia. So no, they weren't Japhites in Macedonia, but they were actually Esau Edom, because their bloodline goes back to Esau Edom by way of Amalek. Right, and that's the history right there. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is as it relates to the current things that are happening on the earth right now, because we are still under the rulership of Esau Edom. The whole earth is under the rulership of Esau Edom, the so-called red man that is ruling over the earth today. And that is who is in power, that's who is in the rulership, that is who is in the rulership, the seat of the rulership seat, basically, man. These devils, okay, the so-called red man that is ruling over the earth. And you see, that is also a sign of the end, that the end will come when Esau Edom will be in rulership. And let's go to that in the book of Second Esdras. And that shows right there, man. The scriptures never lie. The scriptures never lie. Second Esdras 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And the end of the world once again refers to the end of the rulership, the end of the earth age, which is the age of Esau's rulership. And eventually after the Esau's rulership, the next rulership is going to be the rulership of our people, the rulership of the Israelites, as it is written that our people will come into power, the Israelites will come into power and possess the kingdom forever and ever. So this is the book of Daniel 2 verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High, the power of heaven, set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. All right, and that is the kingdom of our people, the kingdom of the Israelites, right? The kingdom of our Lord Yahushai is eventually going to be established, and it's going to be an eternal kingdom where our people will reign forever. Right, so let's continue on. And the main thing actually wanted to go into is, you see the things that are happening on the earth right now. That's the reason why I smile on my face. World War III is escalating. Now, the US is declaring that all men 18 to 26 are automatically have to declare for the draft. Okay, and it's not just all men, it's not just US citizens, it's immigrants, it's undocumented migrants, which shows you that there's no such thing as an undocumented migrant. Esau Edom knows exactly who is in their borders. Okay, knows exactly how many people are in there, they just don't care, right? Every single male that is currently in Babylon the Great is or has is eligible for the draft, between 18 and 26. And also, you heard about the Russian warships that docked in Cuba, which is basically, I think that's south of that's south of Babylon the Great in South America. I think it's actually pretty close. Like it's a little bit south of Florida, so it's very close to Babylon the Great. So right now, Russia is basically in that area. They are, and they could, and already know that Russia. You have to remember that Russia. All these Russian warships are outfitted with ICBM torpedoes, right? So basically, these torpedoes that can create radioactive tidal waves. And I've forgotten the science behind it, but one of the elders did a video on it about how these Russian you have Russian submarines, Russian warships that have these radioactive ICBM torpedoes in them. So that's also another form of but that's also another form of threat for Babylon the Great, and that's showing you that World War III is getting closer and closer. China has started to increase their nuclear weapons, their nuclear warheads. More evidence, more proof, more signs that are coming into those times, right? Which is coming closer and closer to World War III. So eventually, you're going to see these different countries wage war against each other. But we know that the highlight of World War III, right? The main World War III isn't going to be nation against nation. That's just what's being set up. That's just what is being set up by Esau Edom. That's the agenda that is being pushed by Esau Edom to make you believe that that is what is coming, but that's not the case. Okay, what is actually coming is a war between the angels of the Most High Yahweh Shai and the armies of Esau Edom. I just saw another news article, and I also another news video that just came out. Migrants, basically, Biden has an open border right now. So you have migrants coming from over 177 countries. That's crazy. Going into Babylon the Great. And you already know the reason why this is happening, because a lot of these people that are going into Babylon the Great, they don't realize that they are basically lambs to the slaughter, okay? Because the Babylon the Great right now is an altar for the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's what the scriptures say. I can't find that precept. Let me just go and look for this. Let me just go to the book of Isaiah 63. Who is this that cometh from Edom with thy garments from Bozrah? Let me get that. Let me get that. And if you are going to Babylon the Great right now, rather than trying to find out a way to leave Babylon, you see all these nations running into Babylon the Great, right? So this is the book of Isaiah 63 verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Right? So that's exactly what's going to happen in Babylon the Great. All you migrants, all you people that are going to Babylon the Great, believing they are going there for a better life without realizing that you are heading straight for your destruction. Okay, that is what Babylon the Great represents. It is a place of judgment, but it is a place of judgment, right? It's a place of great judgment, an altar for the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushai. That Babylon the Great, you already know, according to Bible prophecy, it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be raised, burned up, and become a wilderness. Let me get that precept. So this is the book of Revelation 18, verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. And that's exactly what is coming to Babylon the Great. It's going to be destroyed. It's going to be a desert, and it's going to be full of desert creatures. Okay, and it is going to be completely destroyed. Not one stone, not one monument. It's going to be completely unrecognizable when the Most High Yahweh Shami Shai is done with Babylon the Great. Man, that's exactly what is coming. And it's a shame that the vast majority of you people that are in the world, right, you Israelites that are in the world, two-thirds of our people don't recognize what is about to come upon the earth, the destruction of Babylon the Great. That's why we always say that, right? That's why we're always prophesying about the end of this kingdom, the destruction of Babylon the Great. You're going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed. The Most High is going to destroy you, because that is exactly what is going to happen. You know, Jake is mad that the Hebrew Israelites aren't sugarcoating it. Right? So we're not out there to give them good news that, oh, don't worry, the Most High isn't going to destroy anything. Your oppression is over, even though we do. But our main focus is, as it is written, through the terror of the Most High Yahweh Shani Shai, we persuade men. So our main focus is to show our people about to warn our people of the coming destruction, to lead them into repentance, because the only way you are going to be delivered, right? The only way that you can even receive the good news is if you repent, right? Without repenting, there's no deliverance for you, there's no salvation for you, right? Or there is salvation, but there's no deliverance, because eventually you're still going to come back, but not on this side. There's not going to be any salvation on this side, no deliverance on this side. It's only destruction for you, the death by pain, being born in vain. Because in the fire, right, the lake of fire that is written about in the book of Revelation, Jake is going to be in that as well. And the vast majority of our people are going to have to go through that fire. Let me get that precept. So that is in the book of Ezekiel, the 13th chapter from the 8th. Okay, it's like another Ezekiel, Zechariah, I meant to say. Zechariah 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And this is referring to Babylon the Great, in all the land of Babylon the Great, two-thirds of our people, right? Because it's not just two-thirds of all the people in Babylon the Great, because there's also a Christian prophecy that goes like that, that, oh, two-thirds of the world will be killed and only one third of the world will be spared and able to be delivered and be raptured, because they also have that doctrine in Christianity. But the truth is that, it's what this is referring to are the Israelites scattered in Babylon the Great, that two-thirds of those Israelites will be destroyed, and only one third of them will be delivered, because we know that the bulk of the deliverance will be in Babylon the Great. So, Zechariah 13, verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say it is my people, and they shall say Yahweh is my power. So two-thirds of our people are going to be destroyed, and the one-third, the elect, are going to receive deliverance. And it's as simple as that. And also, it's coming in these last days, and the elect of the nation of Israel, those of our people that are predestinated for deliverance, will be delivered, and those that are predestinated for destruction will be destroyed. So let's continue on with the precepts. Let's continue going into it. So the next thing I want to go into is that, hey, we are still in the time of war, okay? Because that's exactly what is going on the earth right now. There is no peace on the earth, okay? Even if you say that you live in a part of the world that isn't currently at war, you are still at war. There is still conflict, because right now the US, Babylon the Great, is at war with Russia and at war with China, right? That's why you are sending 90 billion to the small hearts to purge the small hearts to the Ukrainians and also to Taiwan, right? Yeah, the US is also at war with Iran and Palestine, but we're not really going to go into that, right? Even though you are in Babylon the Great and you think that you are safe, that's the issue right there. Let me go and get that preset. That these Babylonians, they think that they will. Let me get that. So let's start from the top. All right, Revelation 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is falling, and is become the habitation of devils, and a hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Let me jump down to the main point. Let me continue. Let me continue reading. Revelation 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of our delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of our plagues. And let me jump down a little bit, because this isn't really going into what I wanted to speak about, because this is going into a completely different topic. So let me jump to the main point. So this is the book of Revelation 18, verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Right. So that's how these Babylonians believe themselves to be, right? They believe that they are safe in their corner of the world, that there will not be no harm come unto them. That's why you are seeing all these MAGA supporters and all these Trump supporters saying, "Make America great again, make America great again," because they believe that they can make a comeback. They believe that they can reinvigorate the American empire, right? Put Babylon the Great back at the top of all the nations and have all the nations fearing them like they did not so long ago. But that is no longer the case in the earth anymore, because now the nations are being strengthened by seeing Babylon the Great weakened. That's what all the nations are saying now, that art thou become as weak as us, right? So this is the book of, and let me jump to this real quick. Yeah, I can already know where I'm going to go. Joel, the third chapter. That's, I think it's Joel 3, yeah, verse 9. Joel 3 verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right, because that's the time that we're in right now. All the nations are preparing for war. Right? All the nations are already in that mindset of war, because most nations are, you know, because you have a large number of nations that are already in wars right now. Palestine is at war. The state of Israel is at war. Iran is at war. Right? They've been being bombed the hell out of by Babylon the Great so frequently. The Russia and Ukraine war are still going on. Now you're hearing news about how the Ukrainian side has lost so many soldiers, right? China is basically at war with Babylon the Great, and Taiwan is at war with China because, that whole thing has been going on for a while in the South China Sea. About that, right? I wanted to even talking about the various civil wars and different wars that are going on all over the earth, different wars in Southeast Asia. Yeah, Southeast Asia. In Africa as well, you have coups, you have civil wars, you have minor conflicts, what's going on in the Congo right now. And different places where war has broken out all over the earth, and that's really what's going on right now. War, okay? And the world powers are seeing, especially the enemies of Babylon the Great, Russia, China, Iran, BRICS, the whole BRICS countries, they've seen that Babylon the Great, America is in a weakened state. So now they are preparing for, so now they are preparing their weapons of war, right? Which is not just swords and spears anymore. It's trade as well. Everything is trade as well. It's politics, geopolitics. All these are weapons of war that are being used against America, Babylon the Great. It's even finance as well. That's why you're having nations talking about how they want to cease using the petrodollar, right, and introduce the BRICS dollar to use. That's another tactic to fight against Babylon the Great, because once the petrodollar stops being used, the power of Babylon the Great reduces, and the spending power, the buying power the dollar has also goes down. And that will just, sink the economy of Babylon the Great more than it already has. Joel 3 verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Joel 3 verse 10. I haven't read Joel 3 verse 10. Joel 3 verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. That's exactly what all these nations are doing. Nations that 10 years ago, in fact, would never have thought to challenge Babylon the Great. They are ultimately, showing off their teeth right now, showing their weapons and challenging the power of Babylon the Great. That's why you are seeing Iran go against the state of Israel, right? Because that's basically challenging Babylon the Great, because you see how much support America, Babylon the Great, gives to the state of Israel, right? Russia is doing the same thing. 10 years ago, Russia would have never thought to even invade Ukraine, right? But now, for the past, it's already been like 2 years now, since the war has been waging, they've been attacking Ukraine, right? And yet they are still a world power, even with the sanctions and the embargoes that have been put against Russia. They are still a world power. They are still up there, and they can still challenge Babylon the Great. And that's why, the Ukrainians for this past this period have basically been on their own, because none of the EU nations, right, or even none of the NATO nations basically can offer that support, because first and foremost, Ukraine is not in NATO, and secondly, any support that they give to Ukraine will be seen as an act of war. So they can't do that, because the truth of the matter is that that's why you're seeing America use all these sneaky tactics in fighting these wars, because Babylon the Great, even they know that they won't be able to survive a war between them or and China, or them and Russia, or even them and Iran, right? Because they can't win a war like that, because hey, these devils, right, these Babylon, Esau, Edom, they are falling in power. But more importantly than that, we are not yet in the time of World War III to actually take place, right? So now, what you're seeing is basically just gradualism, right? That's why, yeah, this bill about the draft was just passed, because it's gradualism to show what time that we're in right now in this kingdom, that eventually a war will have to take place, and the people that will fight in that war are, well, the people of this world, the Babylonians of this world, and those new immigrants that are coming into Babylon the Great. And that's why you are seeing all these immigrants coming. People are always being, all these Babylonians. I don't know why my nose is just itching, but all these Babylonians have been constantly complaining that, oh, all these new immigrants that are coming in, they're all men, they're all military aged men, right? And yeah, granted, a lot of them are spies for these other countries, right? But they will still be made to fight in these wars, right? If a civil war doesn't break out in Babylon the Great first, but we will see eventually, because different factions are at play in Babylon the Great right now. So who knows what will even happen? But hey, that's just the times that we're in, exciting prophetic times that we're in right now, where all manner of things are happening at the same time on the earth. It's basically a situation where so many things are happening on the earth at once, and you can't even keep track of it anymore. But we can only just go into what we know and what we see will happen through, and filter everything through Bible prophecy. That's exactly what we're doing right now. That's why this is exciting stuff, man. Whenever I do these videos, I'm always having the biggest smile on my face. That's why whenever you see me doing the camp videos, I'm always smiling as well, because hey, aside from the fact that being out there on the highways and byways and preaching the gospel is just something enjoyable to do. This is like therapy, man. It's just relaxing to go into the scriptures and just bring out the prophecies and speak on the word of the word of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Because you already know, as men of the Lord, right? Let's go to that in the book of Joshua. The word of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is what we are occupied in. As the scriptures say, be occupied in prophecy, but also the precept I'm going to get is the book of Joshua, where it says, meditate on the words of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai day and night, right? And not just meditate on them, but do them as well. So this is the book of Joshua 1, I think it's verse 8. So yeah, Joshua 1 verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Hey, that's what we are doing as the men of the Lord, and the Lord is truth. Be occupied in prophecy. Our minds are laser focused on prophecy and on the scriptures and the words of the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushai, because at the end of the day, and I think my previous video went into this, what else are we to be focused on in this world? There is nothing in this kingdom, there's nothing in this world that is really worth focusing on or worth putting our minds into, right? You see the fashions of this world passing away. You see what's going on right now in the world. You open You come out of your house, you open your door, you open up the news, and it's just lamentations, mournings, and woes. Bible prophecy, of course, but hey, and that's of course Bible prophecy, but we understand that because we are in this truth, because we are focused on the words, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High Yahweh Shani Oshai. So we know that, oh well, these lamentations, these mourning, these woes, these things that are written in the scriptures are just Bible prophecy and things that are meant to happen, right? But the people of this world, they don't know that, and they are just moving through this world with just this uncertainty of the things that are going to happen on the earth. That's why, in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, it says that be that look out the windows be darkened, because there is no future for this kingdom, man. And that's what we have been prophesying about as look, especially to our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And look, there is no future for this kingdom. There is no future in this kingdom. There's no future for this kingdom. So rather than try to fight for reparations, right, or try to fight for a place in this kingdom and prosperity in the kingdom of your enemy, prosperity in the land of your captivity, focus on the kingdom to come, because we just read that and we can establish that the kingdom to come, which is the kingdom of our Lord Yahweh Shai, will be an eternal kingdom, right? So lasting much longer than this kingdom ever will. And that's the next kingdom that is coming immediately after this one. So this is the book of Daniel 7. So this is the book of Daniel 7, verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And that refers to the Roman Empire, which the Roman Empire did not take over the whole earth, right? But the revised Roman Empire, which is NATO and the EU, they have taken dominion over the whole earth. That's why we tell you that Esau Edom is in rulership over the whole earth, and all the world, all the parts of the world, even those places that you think that that are ruled over by people, even those places that are quote unquote ruled over by people that aren't Edomites, are still under the rulership of Esau Edom, right? Which is why Babylon the Great can come to any part of the world and demand laws be passed, right? And if you do not pass those laws, you don't get any aid from Babylon the Great, which is exactly what they do. Or they can send their agents to try to destabilize these parts of the world, or set up puppets, or even assassinate rulers. And you've seen that happen all too many times in these past 5 years. Let's continue reading. Daniel 7, verse 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. Right, and that's the kingdom that's the kingdom of our Lord Yahweh Shai, the kingdom that our Lord Yahweh Shai will bring on the earth, an everlasting kingdom, right? Far greater than anything that we have currently on this side, you know, and it's going to be the elect of the nation of Israel, and that will be ruling in that kingdom. This is why the scriptures saying that the saints of the Most High shall possess the kingdom. Let's get that. So this is the book of Daniel 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And that's it right there, Hey, eventually, this whole world will be under the rule of the nation of Israel, and that's when you have sincerity and righteousness upon the earth, right? We, according to His promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness, as it is written, right? So let me end the video right there. So with that, once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Basham Yahweh, Basham Rakah Kwadash, Wa Abad Baba, Shalom.